health and a little wealth and a lot of love.
So tell me about when you got really good at marketing.
Yeah, so with that, I started networking with people, and I realized I never knew what networking was. I'm like, I need to go to this networking event. Well, I'm kind of an introvert. I'm great one-on-one, but I'm terrible in group settings. Like, I just don't do well. I'm the guy who will be the life of the conversation when we're talking one-on-one, but you go to a party, I'm sitting in the corner. As a business owner, as a salesperson, as a marketer, you have to develop your dream avatar. Mm-hmm. Who is it that I want to work with? So if you're in sales, well, who's my best client? Who's the person that I made the most money with? I enjoyed the conversation, and they're the least work on the back end. Now I figure out what the ideal traits are of that person, mm-hmm. and I go find 25 more people like them, right. Put them on a list, get one, cross them off the list, replace them with another, and your dream 25 is constantly working. So I started doing that, and that was great because now I can deploy the social media aspect of, right. I go interact with them on a social media post. Right. I message them privately and say, hey, I love what you're doing. I would love to get to know you a little bit better. Right. And it can be this subliminal thing where they don't know what's going on, or some of them will call me and be like, what do you want? And they call me on it. And I'm like, listen, you're my ideal client that I want to work with. Do you have this problem? I would love to do it. And I'm very transparent about it.
Love that.
And the honesty of that goes a long way. I actually get more people whenever I just call them and say, hey, you're my ideal client. Because psychologically, that does two things. First of all, they say, I can trust you because you're honest with me and you're not. Yeah. And then secondly, they say, oh, I'm a little flattered. You want to work with me? Mm-hmm. And there's those two things go really hand to hand together, because what you need to do is build a know, like, and trust factor. So that just got a like factor because you just hit that dopamine if you like me.
Mm-hmm. That's what I kept doing with you.
Right?
I was like, I want to work with you. I really want to work with you.
And I saw it the whole time, man.
Yeah.
And that's cool because I want to work with people who want to work with me.
Right.
And that's another criteria that I have is if you don't want to work with me, good. Don't work with me. I don't want to work with you either because you're going to make my life miserable.
Right.
If I have to pander to you every single time I talk to you.
Exactly.
So this is actually a funny story too. I grew up in a very religious family to where you couldn't cuss, you couldn't do anything. My mom walked down in the basement. I was watching Die Hard one day, and I was in middle school, and she heard Bruce Willis, yippee-ki-yay, and all this.
Right.
And she comes down and she shuts it off, and she's like, is that how you talk when you're not in this house? And threw a big old fit about it. And I remember that to this day, and I'm like, that is how I talk when I'm out of this house. Why can't I be who I am in this house?
Right.
And that was a big hurdle that I had to overcome as an adult is I have to be able to be me through and through. And I respected Gary Vee for that.
Right.
Talking about multiple times, like, why do you talk like this? Well, he's like, well, that's who I am.
Right.
And so I stopped worrying about offending people and realized if I offend you, that's a you problem and not a me problem. And I am me. And I only want to be me around people that are okay with that. And if you're not okay with it, I hope I turn you off.
I love that because do you know the Feuder? Asian guy that has tape on his hat. I don't know his name.
No, I don't.
He's like one of the biggest personal branding consultants in the world, probably. Check him out, actually. Okay. And he talks about living your truth and be authentically himself. He says, I'll come up here. He wears glasses. He has a whole brand image, whatever. He wears glasses and he has his hat on. And he's like, people don't like me and I don't care. He's like millions of followers. He's crushing the game. And I love listening to him because he's very... he uses disciplines and he studies cultures and that's what I think about people on the planet. Like everything you've ever done has already been done, I feel like.
Yep.
But if you take multiple and then you turn it into, because if you like this, and you pull it together and you have a unique perspective, that's what the human experience is, in my opinion.
With a little health and a little wealth and a lot of love, that's the life that we live. Suits and scrubs.